I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today. You was bony and looking too funny today. I don't care, niggas still make Cheeze. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheeze podcast. And I'm your host, Fat Cheeze. I feel like I ain't done this in a long time after, this past week has been so much going on. But we're going to jump right back into it. This is episode number 6. Again, do not forget to like and share the content. And also do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification button for that YouTube channel. Also, do not forget to follow me on all socials, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, etc. And also, do not forget that audio is now available for all my audio listeners. We are available on Apple Podcasts, and we also available on Spotify. We on our way to 100 subscribers on YouTube. So like I said on the last video, if you watch on that, once I hit 100 subscribers and 100 followers on my Instagram, I'm going to do a small giveaway. Once we start getting closer, I'm going to figure everything out. And then I'm going to set something up to do something nice for all the people who have been supporting me so far, through this podcast journey I'm going on. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Everybody know yesterday was the end of round 2. We had 2 Game 7s, 2 phenomenal games. First, we're going to start out with the Knicks and the Pacers. And I always like to start out with the winner first. I ain't going to start out with the loser. I'm going to start out with the winner first. So first, we're going to start with the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers had a hell of a game yesterday. They came out and they caught fire offensively. I felt like they came out with a game plan. If you've been watching Indiana all year, you know they like one of them running gun type teams. They like to get on the break, run fast, getting their sets quick, and they like to shoot a lot of three-pointers as well too. You got a huge game from the others, but you also got a huge game from their star players as well. I like what they did. Coming into Madison Square Garden, you know it's going to be a hostile environment. The crowd going to be turned up. You know how the Knicks environment is. They got the celebrities there. I felt like Indiana came out early, and once they got the crowd quieted down, I just felt like they was in control from the beginning of the game all the way until the very end. You got 26 points from Tyrese Halliburton, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. He went 10 to 17 from the field, 6 to 12 from 3. And I'm going to tell you something. Y'all Knicks fans, y'all going to learn to lead them. I see y'all ain't learned y'all lesson yet with Reggie Miller or even recent with Trae Young, because y'all always get to talking that mess, and they all and the star always come back to kill you. And I want to give a shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, because I kind of been hard on him for these last couple of months. I said I felt like I didn't feel like it. I mean, it's facts. He went into a little slump. He started the season off hot and then went into a slump after the All-Star break. I felt like he quite didn't deserve to make the USA team. So I've been kind of giving him slack. But one thing about me, if I give you slack, I'm gonna give you props too. He had a hell of a game yesterday. He did what he was supposed to do. Pascal Siakam gave you 20 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He's another person that came out. I felt like he came out aggressive, attacking the basket, popping that mid-range. He hit a couple of threes. He went 2 or 3 from 3. Pascal Siakam is one of those guys that's been there before. You know what he did when he was with Toronto. He won a championship in Toronto, and everybody remember what Kawhi Leonard did, but we got to also remember that Pascal Siakam was a huge factor in Toronto winning that championship. Andrew Nembhard had a hell of a game yesterday, and for a young player to come out in Game 7 and have a game like that, I felt like he came out, he had his composure. It felt like the stage wasn't too big for him. He gave you 20 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 8 or 10 from the field. He was just in control the whole time. He didn't let the environment or the situation, have him out there out of control. And he had a hell of a game. Miles Turner gave you 17 points, 5 rebounds, 7-11 from the field, and 2 or 3 from 3. Miles Turner hit some big shots. Once again, I felt like he came out aggressive, got the mid-range popping, you know what I'm saying? Then he went out, hit a couple of threes. They just had control from the entire for the entire game, and I like how they came out aggressive. Like I said, just they play Indiana Pacers basketball. If you watch Indiana all year, you know the style that they like to play. They like to play in that up-tempo, fast, get in your face. And I felt like they came and seized control of that yesterday. They had a great game. Nate Smith gave you 19 points. He went 8 of 8 from the field and 2 of 2 from 3. He hit some timely shots, especially in that second half. He's been more so. I've been hearing a lot of people was calling for him to take the assignment on Brunson. I think he did a good job with that. I mean, it's only but so much you can do with Brunson, but he was having minor success. And God and Brunson, so shout out to him. He had a pretty good series. And T.J. McConnell came off the bench and gave you 12 points. He was out there looking like prime Goran Dragic, Steve Nash yesterday, coming out there popping little middies. He's one of those, like I said, like true point guards. But he had his shot going yesterday. He went 6 of 8 from the field. So shout out to Indiana. They're moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time, I believe, since 2014, if I'm not mistaken. But shout out to them. You always find out the character of a team when they can go into the opponent's building and make a statement. And they made a statement, a huge statement yesterday. They shot 67% from the field as a team. You know what I'm saying? And they set a record highest field goal percentage in a playoff game in NBA history. It's like I had my Knicks friends texting me and calling me during the game. And I'm just telling them, y'all ain't playing no defense. And it's crazy that happened to, I'm going to get to the Knicks, but that's crazy because you rarely see a Thibodeau team get killed like that on the defensive end, because we all know he's one of the best defensive-minded coaches in the league, period. So to see Indiana, it's like every time the Knicks came down and tried to make a little run, Indiana found a way to answer. Knicks score, they go right, either Indiana going right back down for a wide open layup, or they going down hitting a three. It's like they neutralized everything that the Knicks tried to come at them with yesterday, and I give a big shout out to them. So they'll be heading to the Eastern Conference Finals to take on Boston. Shouts out to Indiana. They also got shot 54% as a team from 3. So they just had an all-out great game yesterday. Shout out to Indiana. Y'all did what y'all supposed to do. Tyrese Halliburton, I know a lot of people upset, say you a front runner, whatever. Hey man, you do what you want when you winning. When you winning, you could talk your shit. He wore the Reggie Miller choke joint to the press conference. I like it. When you winning, you deserve to be able to talk trash. Like I said, y'all Knicks fans, y'all gonna learn to leave them guys alone when they out there, because guess what? Y'all not the ones out there that got to play. And he was giving it to their ass. Now, I'm going to slide over to the Knicks. And my take on the Knicks, I'm not giving them a pass, because at the end of the day, everybody want to speak on injuries. And, yeah, they had injuries, but we all know injuries is a part of the game. This is the same team that was up 3, that beat the 76ers. We all know Joel Embiid was injured. They beat the 76ers in the first round, and they was up 3-2 in this series and went to Indiana and had a chance to close it out. They couldn't get it done, and they end up losing yesterday. But I'm going to give them a slight little thing. They did have a lot of injuries. OG Anunoby tried to play yesterday. He gave you 5 points. He only played 5 minutes, but he gave you 5 points, 2 of 2 from the field and 1 for 1 from the 3. But it was clear as day. You could tell OG shouldn't have never been out there. I don't even know how the coaches could look at him and say he should have been out there on the floor. The man barely could run. Like, from the minute the tip off, I could see it on. If I said he's hurt, he was a liability out there. He couldn't move. It was nothing that he can do. He should have never been out there, but I just feel like that the injuries finally caught up with the Knicks. You had Josh Hart out there playing yesterday with an abdominal strain. He gave you 10 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, but it was only so much he can do. When you have so many injuries to so many key guys, it's only but so much you can do. Then we all know Julius Randle got hurt with the shoulder injury. Then you got Bogdanovic, who got hurt in the first round against Philly. You got what's my man name? The center. I can't think of his name right now. Mitchell. You got Mitchell who was hurt, who got hurt. It's just they've been injury riddled. Then with OG, and then in the second half, well, they was already getting blown out at that point. Brunson messed his hand up in the second half yesterday. So it's just been an injury riddled year for the Knicks. But kudos to them for making it to the second round. They showed some grit. They got some contributions from, you know what I'm saying, some guys who you didn't expect to really give you as big of a contribution as they did. Dante DiVincenzo, he gave you 39 points yesterday. He did his thing. He gave you he went 11 of 21 from the field, 9 of 15 from 3. So going forward, I think the Knicks, if they can stay healthy, I don't know what they're gonna do with Julius Randle. Me personally, if I was them, I would maybe look on the trade market and see what his value is for a trade. I just feel like if they can keep a core. My bad. It wasn't. It's Mitchell Robinson. That's the center. My bad. That was Mitchell Robinson. Also was another injury for the center for the Knicks. But I would look and see what you maybe can get for Julius Randle on the market. And then because I feel like if they can keep their core together and maybe put another star beside Jalen Brunson, I feel like the Knicks can definitely compete for to make it out of the Eastern Conference, just because I like their grit. Like I said, Tibbs is going to always put a solid defense out there. Jalen Brunson had an amazing year. Like I said, we don't know what he can do with another bona fide star beside him. Like I said, DiVincenzo stepped up huge in this series and throughout the play. And once the injury started to pile up and he was inserted in, he played a huge role. Like I said, then once you get a lot of those guys back healthy, like OG, Josh Hart, Bogdan, once give them a 4, if they come back healthy, if you can add another star piece in New York, I think the Knicks can make some noise. You got a big contribution from Burks. He gave you 26 points, 8 of 13 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. He gave you a spark. Maybe he's somebody that you keep on, and for next season he could be a pivotal cog off the bench. They have options. Like I said, New York, I understand. That they haven't been to an Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't know when. But for the grit that you guys showed to get to the second round of the playoffs with as many injuries that you had this year, I salute y'all. Y'all have a bona fide leader and stud and Jalen Brunson, and I think if you can find another star to get over there with him, I believe the Knicks can make some noise. But you got to get healthy. That's the main thing. For some reason, that always, kind of plays a factor with y'all. But like I said, you can't make no excuses. Injuries are part of the game. Every team, it's unfortunate, but I mean that's just how it works. So I feel for y'all. But shouts out to the Indiana Pacers. They'll be moving on to the next round. The Knicks will be heading into the offseason. Hopefully they can make some moves, make some things shake. Hopefully get a star in there beside Brunson, and they'll be back next year. Now, next we're going to move on to the game this game was phenomenal. Denver Nuggets versus Minnesota Timberwolves. And like I said, I always start with the winners. I want to give a shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves. First and foremost, y'all made a believer out of me. I'll admit, I picked Denver in 7. Just because I felt like the championship pedigree, they won it all last year, and I just felt like that, with Minnesota being a young team coming in, it would be a lot for them to be able to go into Denver, and man, they proved me completely wrong. Yesterday's game to me, you could throw all. Yesterday's game to me was the definition of a game 7. You could throw all the stats out the window. You could throw all whatever you could throw all that shit out the window. It was straight grit and straight confidence. We leaving here with a W. To be down 20 points, they was down 15 going into halftime, and then to get down as much as 20 points and to fight all the way back and win that game yesterday. Man, shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you would have told me Anthony Edwards would have 16 points, 6 of 24 from the field, and 2 of 10 from three, and Minnesota still won that game in Denver, I would have told you there's no way in the world that could happen. But it happened. They came out in that second half, and the defense was tremendous. Their defense have been tremendous all year, and especially it's like they ramped it up in the playoffs. It's like Jamal Murray started to find his rhythm in the first half, and after the second, they said no more. We ain't giving you nothing. They made it hard on everybody. Of course, you know Jokic and them gonna get theirs, but for everybody else, they made it hard. They put the clamps on everything. Jaden McDaniels, shout out to him. He gave you 23 points, 6 rebounds, 7 of 10 from the field, 3 or 4 from three. Jaden McDaniels have been huge these last two games. I think he had 23 in game 6, and then the turnaround and had 23 in game 7 when Ant is struggling. That's huge from him. Cat has been huge. Like I said, he's been huge since coming off an injury, even going into that first series against my Phoenix Suns. He gave you 23 points, 12 rebounds, 8 of 14 from the field, and he was 1 of 6 from three. But he just any mismatches he got down low, he punished them. He made them feel it. You put Jamal Murray on me, I'ma punish him. You put KCP on me, I'ma punish him. In any mismatch, I'm not letting nobody off the hook. Cat had a hell of a game. Mike Conley hit timely shots. He had a couple of big threes in that second half that helped the comeback. 10 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. 3 of 10 from the field, but 3 of 5 from three. Mike Conley is another one of them vets. He's been there before. I think he's been very unlucky. If I'm not mistaken, I think he hadn't won a game 7 like ever. I think he was 0 in the game 7. He hit some timely shots, and when it comes down to, like I said, when it comes down to a game 7 or a clutch moments, when it comes down to coming back and winning the game, at the end of the day, yeah, scoring is important, but it's about can you get stops and can you hit timely shots. Minnesota hit so many timely shots yesterday. The putback dunks. Nas Reed came in, gave you 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4-7 from the field. He went 1 of 4 from three, but the rebounding, the getting to the cup, scoring in the hole, he had a putback dunk. Cat had a putback dunk yesterday. Then Jamal Murray, you got to learn how to box out, brother, because yesterday you did not show that. Rudy Gobert gave you 13 points, 9 rebounds. He was an anchor. When I seen Rudy Gobert hit, when I watched Rudy Gobert hit a turnaround Dirk Nowitzki fadeaway, I knew it was day night. It was day night, man. Shout out to Minnesota. They'll be heading to the Western Conference Finals. 20 years. The last time they went was 2004. 20 years since they've been. Man, I'm happy for them. Man, Ant has gained a fan out of me. 22 years old, and to be doing what you're doing, it's not even, see, people will look at the stats and say, oh, well, he only had, it's about the leadership. It's about telling your guys, I heard him telling Alexander Walker, man, just keep shooting, setting screens, going, crashing the glass, just the little things, the things that, you know what I'm saying, that's bigger than just scoring the basketball. He a true leader. And he gained a fan out of me, and I'm gonna be honest. And a lot of people, I know they're gonna say this is no recency bias. I know a lot of people gonna say, "Oh man, you can't just if Ant go win this championship at 22 years old, Ant has an opportunity to really take over this game and honestly become the GOAT because Michael Jordan didn't win his first championship until he was 28. LeBron didn't win his first championship until I believe he was 28. Kobe got a championship, one of his championships at 22, but he wasn't Mamba at the time. He wasn't the star. He wasn't the star player. These are just all the guys that's in those conversations. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won his first championship at 23 years old. So you got to look what's going on. Ant hasn't even scratched the surface of his prime yet. This is the early stages of his career, and this is what's going on. Man, they got a team over there. They got a team over there, and they capable. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm picking them to win the whole thing. This may be just going up, but I'm picking them to win the whole thing. I said it from Jump Street. Whoever came out of this series, I felt was going to go and win a championship. I feel like the Timberwolves are front seat to go win that championship. Let's switch over to the Nuggets side. Jokic gave you 34, 19, and 7, 13 to 28 from the field. Jokic did his thing. I mean, there's nothing more you could ask from Jokic. Those are Jokic's numbers. For him to give you 34 and 19 rebounds is nothing more you can ask from Jokic. He gave you everything that he normally gives you. He had a hell of a game. Like I said, Jamal Murray gave you 35 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 13 to 27 from the field, 4-12 from 3. I felt like Jamal Murray, he had a terrible game 6. I felt like he started to get his rhythm in the first half of yesterday's game. But like I said, I just when whatever the Timberwolves had a conversation about in the locker room, when they came back out, they put the clamps on everything. Like, they put the clamps on everything. Jamal Murray they had him in that seatbelt. But I felt like Jamal Murray and Jokic gave you enough. Like I said, they were once at a time up 20 points. So your stars gave you enough for you to win the game. Now, this is the conversation that I want to have. Aaron Gordon, KCP, and Michael Porter Jr. combined for 16 points total in a Game 7. The defending champs, win or go home, and you come out and combine for 16 points. That is awful. Michael Porter Jr. having 7 points. But I always felt, and this is no shot at him, Michael Porter Jr., to me, in my opinion, has always been inconsistent. Like, it's either one game he can give you 25, and then another game he'll give you 12 points. That's just, to me, that's Michael. That's just Michael Porter Jr. He either all the way on or all the way off. If one of these guys give you at least 15, 17 points, they win this game. Aaron Gordon, he had a couple of big games in this series, but like I said, for them, KCP's really more so on the defensive end. He can hit some open threes, but the one that I'm mostly disappointed in is Michael Porter Jr. I'm disappointed in Michael Porter Jr. I'm disappointed in all three of them, because all Jokic and Murray needed was at least one more person to come along for the ride, and neither of those guys did that. They got nothing from their bench. They got 5 total bench points, and that came from Brown off the bench. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you're not going to win with that. You're not going to win with that, especially facing a young, hungry team, and that's those things about Game 7. I heard a lot of people saying, oh, man, I feel like Denver just went to Minnesota and laid down so they can win at home. It don't work like that. If you got a chance to close out any team, and this also can piggyback off what I said about the Knicks. People want to complain about the injuries, but they had a chance they was up 3-2 and had a chance to go to Indiana and close it out. They didn't do it. Denver had a chance to go to Minnesota and close it out, and they didn't do it. And people say, oh, well, no. That's the thing about Game 7. Somebody can beat you at the buzzer. Anything can happen. Injury, anything. Game 7 is win or go home. So you really can miss me with the excuses or whatever. Shouts out to Denver. They won a championship. They won their championship last year. I just feel like that with a lot of stuff that Denver was able to get away with last year, they didn't get. I never was confident that Denver would win the championship all this year. You can go back a couple of my videos and I said that. Just because of the simple fact, I felt like they lost a lot of pieces in the offseason, losing Bruce Brown, losing Uncle Jeff Green. I felt like that played a factor in a lot of stuff that they got away with. You got to understand, and this is no disrespect to them. They are the champion, the defending champs, but you beat a Miami team in the finals that was the eighth. Nobody expected Miami to get to the finals. So I felt like that, you know what I'm saying? I just never really had all that much faith in them as far as repeating. I felt like they had a good shot. Like I said, I felt whoever won this series will go on and win the championship. But I feel like all of their flaws throughout the year that I always looked at, I think it came back to haunt them yesterday when you playing a young, hungry team like this. Michael Porter Jr. can't have. He could have did that last year when you playing against Miami, because everybody who watched that series last year, nobody thought Miami would beat Denver last year in the finals. You can't have a combined 16 points from three of your top guys and think you're gonna beat a young, hungry team like Minnesota. It's not happening. So again, shout out to Minnesota. They're headed to the Western Conference Finals. Denver is headed to the beach, and that's that on that. Now I'm going to move on to my predictions for the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals. First, I'm going to start with the Eastern Conference Finals. And that's, I feel like, I'm going to be honest, I don't want to say I don't think it's going to be competitive, but I feel like I'm picking Boston. I think Boston just has too much firepower. I know Porzingis is not playing, and I feel like that hurts Boston a lot. I think that'll affect Boston more in the finals than it would in this series. I think Boston could beat Indiana without Porzingis. Now, if it was the Knicks, I felt like the Knicks could give maybe not with the injuries, of course. With all the injuries, absolutely not. But I felt like if they could get OG healthy in time, and if the thing with Brunson never, I felt like the Knicks could give them competition. But I think the Pacers could give them some bump too. But I don't. Maybe the Pacers. I think the Pacers probably could sneak maybe one. They probably could sneak because Boston, for some reason, it's always something with Boston where they let up at home, and a team end up beating them at home or something. So maybe the Pacers can get two, but I got Boston winning in 6. I just feel like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they too much. You still got Al Horford. Of course, like I said, you got Drew Holiday. You got Derek White. They just a solid all-around team. They've been the best team in basketball all year. I just feel like it's too much for Indiana. They're going to need Tyrese Halliburton to have tremendous games in this series. They're going to need a big series from Miles Turner. They're going to need a big series, especially from Pascal Siakam, because like I said, he's been there before. So you're going to need big games from him and the other guys. Like I said, the Naismiths, the Nembhards, the T.J. McConnell. You're going to need big games from them guys in order to keep up with Boston, because once, like I said, you got Peyton Pritchard, you got Al Horford, you got Drew Holiday, you got all them guys on Boston that can score the basketball at an elite. That they can score at an elite level. They can do so many things. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting series. But I got Boston in 6. I don't see in no world where Indiana beats them. And that's not a slight to Indiana. I believe Indiana is a good team. I just don't see them beating Boston. So I think Boston will advance to the NBA Finals. The question for Boston is, once they advance, I'm going to say if, but I believe they are, if they advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, will Kristaps Porzingis be able to play? Because I think that will be a huge factor in whether they can win the whole thing or not. I told you in a couple of episodes ago how important I felt he was to their offense, just because he's so versatile and the different things that he can do. So we'll have to find out. Hopefully his injury progresses along and he is able to come back. In the Western Conference Finals, now this one right here, I'm so excited for this series. I think this series is going to be, we may could go 7 here, but I'm going to tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not betting against them boys. I'm going with Minnesota to win. I'm going Minnesota to win the series, and I'm going in 6 games. I just feel like Minnesota matches up so perfect with Dallas. Like, everything Dallas have, I feel like Minnesota can counter it. And I like this series. A lot of people, and y'all gonna put some respect on Rudy Gobert, on his name as far as defensive wise. He was getting cooked by Jokic, but let's just be honest, everybody get cooked by Jokic. So you can't really say that. But I think this right here will be a better series for Gobert, and as far as defensive wise, because you don't have to worry about Daniel Gafford, you know what I'm saying, doing anything that they're more so or lightly. You don't have to worry about those guys. They more so of lob threats. So I feel like this right here should be a better series for Gobert. As far as on the defensive end, they have you can go ahead, you can put McDaniels on Luka, and you can go ahead and let Ant Boogie with Kyrie. I just think that when it was going to be important for this series, especially for both teams, but mainly for Dallas, is going to be the others. Can you get that production from P.J. Washington? Can you get that production from Penny Hardaway? Can you get that production from guys that gave you that in the OKC series? Because I feel like Nas Reed can give you production in this series. I feel like Alexander Walker can give you production. You know what Ant coming to do. You know what you got the vet in Mike Conley. Cat has been on a tear. I just feel like all around the board. Now, if the other guys for Dallas can step up, what's my man name? Jones. Jones, he's been huge for Dallas. I think he gave them like 2 back-to-back 20-point games. They're going to need guys like him, and like I said before, guys like P.J. Watt. They're going to need those guys to step up. I feel like I don't know if you can bang it, but you could say the same for Minnesota. Who's to say Jaden McDaniels can give you 23 points? Who's to say, Cat can come out and have a bet? So it could be wishy-washy. I like this series a lot. I like both teams. I'm going Minnesota in 6. I think Minnesota going to win the whole thing, though. I think Minnesota has really gained a fan in me. I think Minnesota going to win the whole thing. So I'm going to take Minnesota in 6. I just feel like, like I said, they've answered all questions. They've answered the bell for me. Of course, they annihilated my Suns, sweeping them, and then to go up, be backs against the wall against the defending champs, go up 2-0, then lose 2 at home, then go back and lose, and backs to be up against the wall, and for them to respond the way they did, being down 20 points in the third quarter and rallying back to win. I just feel like I feel like anybody who picks against Minnesota right now is a fool. And honestly, I want to see a Boston Minnesota finals just to see what Kevin Garnett gonna do. He played for Minnesota. KG, you gotta go for Minnesota, bruh. They draft you. You started with Minnesota. You gotta go Minnesota. I understand you won your championship in Boston, but you gotta go for Minnesota though. I just feel like Minnesota right now, they on one of them special runs. They on one of them special runs, man, and I salute them boys what they doing. They deserve it. They've been losing for 20 years. So, now is the time. Hopefully switching to football, my Cowboys can follow that blueprint, but I doubt it. So, we going to leave that alone right now. It ain't football season quite yet. So, that's the end of that. I just wanted to come and recap the game 7s from yesterday, give my predictions on who I feel like is going or what's going to happen in the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals. Also, this for my ladies. Ever since I started this, I've been getting a lot of texts. Don't forget about the ladies. Don't forget about the women. Don't forget about the women. I have slightly been getting in my WNBA bag. Since college went off, I followed the girls into the WNBA. I've been getting in my WNBA back. Y'all got to give me some time, though. I'm still learning a little bit, but I'm getting there. I have been watching Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, though. Y'all got to cut the girls some time. Angel Reese been looking good, though. I watched both her first 2 games. I watched 2 of Caitlin games. I missed one of them, but Angel been looking good, though. Angel been looking good. She gave you 12 points the first game. They lost. She almost had a double-double the second game. She had 11 points, 9 rebounds. Angel been looking real good. Shout out to Angel. Y'all got to give Caitlin some slack. Leave all the other stuff out. We keeping the basketball. Cut her some slack. And you got to look at it from the simple fact of how fat the transition has been. They just played in March Madness. Caitlin made it all the way to the national championship. Then they had to turn right around, get drafted, and now the season already started. And this all within like a a 3 to 4 month span. So you gotta, it's gonna take some time. Her first game, she had 20 points, 5 of 15, 4-11 from 3. She struggled. First half, she struggled. I think she only went to the first half with like 7 points, if I'm not. She was struggling, but it's her first WNBA game, so that's expected. It's a lot of pressure. You the number one pick. All this hype is on you throughout the year. Heading into it. And she, it's right. But I feel like as the season go on, you'll start to see more from these girls. And transitioning to the WNBA is just like a rookie transition to the NFL or rookie transition. It takes time. It just don't happen overnight. I don't know, because people may look at it because they females, it's supposed to happen overnight. It don't work like that. But her second game, she had 9.7 rebounds, 6 assists. That was a real bad game. But her third game, you kind of could start to see her get it together a little bit. Her percentages still wasn't that good. She had 22 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. She was 9 from 17 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3. But like I said, over time it'll get better. Angel Reese, both of her first 2 games was really good. I like what I'm seeing from Angel. I feel like she's transitioning pretty good. So, like I said, as the season go on, you just got to give them time and it'll get better. And one person that I did learn about, I heard her name, but I actually got a chance to watch her, was Breonna Stewart. She played for Liberty. Man, I actually watched her against Caitlin, and was she cooking their ass. She gave him 31 points the first game, and then she gave him 24 the second game. So she's somebody that I'm gonna start looking into. I don't want to get too deep into it because, like I said, I'm just starting to get into my WNBA bag. So she's a person that I'm going to be looking into, and then I got to check out. I haven't checked them out so far. I got to check out the A6. I like Asia Wilson. I got to check them out, defending champs, and of course the Mystics. I got to check them out and see and see what they got going on. I'm actually going to try to see if I can make it to one of them games this year. I'll let y'all know if I do. But that's the end of it. Just wanted to come on here and recap a couple things, give my predictions, and talk about a little this and a little bit of that. Like I said, I appreciate everybody for all my supporters, everybody who tune in and watch. Like I said, do not forget to like and share the content and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We on our way to 100 subscribers. Don't forget to follow all the socials: Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, etc. And again, I appreciate y'all, and I see y'all next time.